All right, whiskey lovers, get ready because this deep dive is all about whiskey.
That's right.
We've got a fantastic collection of sources for this one. In-depth whiskey guides, creative cocktail books,
Oh, nice.
and even a guide to perfect food pairings.
Very important.
It's like your passport to a global whiskey tour
Exactly.
without ever leaving your seat.
Love that.
So we're going to be going from the rolling hills of Scotland to the innovative distilleries of Japan, and even making a quick stop in Kentucky along the way.
Sounds like a plan.
But it's more than just a tasting tour.
Yeah, definitely more.
We're going to unearth those captivating stories behind these distilleries.
Yes.
And uncover some really surprising facts that will make you the most interesting person at your next whiskey tasting.
I love it.
Okay, let's kick things off in Scotland, the birthplace of whiskey.
Of course.
Specifically, the Speyside region, famous for its distilleries.
For sure.
Now, you might be familiar with Chivas Regal,
Yeah.
a popular blended whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
But did you know that one of its key components is a single malt called Alta Bain?
Alta Bain, yeah.
It's a bit of a hidden gem, rarely bottled on its own.
Right. It's fascinating, actually. Its history is intertwined with the rising popularity of Chivas Regal, particularly in Asia and Latin America.
Oh, wow.
Alta Bain was built in 1975
Okay.
as a direct response to that demand, and most of its production still goes into the blend.
That's probably why it's so hard to find.
Yeah, exactly.
So finding a bottle of Alta Bain single malt is
Oh,
a real treat.
real treat.
Let's move on over to a nearby distillery, Ben Rin.
Ben Rins, all right.
Now, things get a little unusual here.
Whoa,
They employ a partial triple distillation process
interesting.
using 6 stills in a really unique configuration.
Wow,
So picture this, 1 wash, still paired with 2 spirit stills.
that is unique.
It's not your typical setup.
So this unusual process, I mean, how does this affect the final product?
Well, it actually contributes to the heavier, more robust flavors that Ben Rinnes is known for.
Right, I see.
So it's a great example of how, even within a single region like Speyside, just subtle variations in those production methods can lead to drastically different flavor profiles.
I like that.
And speaking of unique, let's talk about Glenarachie.
Glenn, I liked you. Okay,
Established in 1967.
right.
Now, despite its large production capacity, you'll find surprisingly few single malt bottlings available.
Really? Why is that?
Well, Glenarachie has historically focused on producing whiskey for blends.
I see.
It's only recently that they've begun releasing more single malt expressions,
Okay.
giving whiskey enthusiasts a chance to really savor those unique characteristics of this distillery.
I like it.
Now, no exploration of Speyside would be complete without mentioning Glenmorangie,
Ah, Glenmorangie.
true pioneer when it comes to wood finishes.
Yeah.
They've really pushed the boundaries of whiskey flavor
Oh, yeah.
by experimenting with different types of casks,
Yeah.
from ex-bourbon barrels to sherry casks and beyond.
That's a lot of experimentation.
And it's remarkable how much the type of cask actually can influence that final character of the whiskey.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the wood imparts its own unique flavors.
Right.
It does.
Adds those layers of complexity and depth to the spirit.
It does. It does.
So Glenmorangie's experimentation has
Yeah.
resulted in a really diverse range of expressions,
Yeah.
each with its own distinct personality.
Nice.
From the gentler slopes of Speyside, let's journey to the rugged, windswept island of Islay.
Islay.
Now, this island's famous for its peaty whiskeys.
Yes.
If you ever find yourself on Islay,
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend the distillery tour that takes you to Laphroaig,
Oh, nice.
Lagavulin, and Ardbeg.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, and you'll find the website links for each distillery in your show notes,
Perfect.
so be sure to check them out.
Absolutely.
Now, Laphroaig is particularly interesting because it's one of the few distilleries that still uses traditional floor maltings. Can you imagine that? Barley spread out on the distillery floor to germinate,
Uh-huh.
with peat smoke just billowing from that iconic pagoda roof above the kiln.
Oh, wow.
The aroma alone,
Yeah.
it's an experience.
I can only imagine.
Now, right next door to Laphroaig,
Okay.
you have Lagavulin,
Lagavulin.
offering a completely different but equally captivating experience.
Nice.
Now, their whiskeys are known for their rich,
Mm.
smoky character and intense peaty flavor.
Right.
And then there's Ardbeg,
Ardbeg, yeah.
often considered the peatiest of them all.
Okay.
And this distillery, it's located right on the coast,
Oh, wow.
exposed to the wild elements of the Atlantic.
So that probably influences the final product.
Absolutely. It's
Right.
a really immersive experience that captures that rugged spirit of Islay.
Very cool.
Okay, now let's venture beyond Speyside and Islay
Mm.
and explore some other intriguing distilleries in Scotland.
All right, let's do it.
Have you ever heard of Auchrusk?
Auchrusk.
It's a really interesting one.
I haven't actually.
Its name derives from Gaelic and means ford of the Red Stream.
Ah, that's very poetic.
It adds a touch of poetry to your whiskey tasting,
For
right?
sure, for sure.
And then there's Ballantine's, famous for its blended whiskeys.
Yeah.
You know, their 30-year-old expression was a true innovator in the world of aged blends.
Oh, wow.
It paved the way for the premium blends we see today.
So Ballantine's, they were ahead of the curve.
Yeah, they were really ahead of the curve.
Oh,
It's a testament to their commitment to quality and craftsmanship.
right.
Now, Glenelgin might surprise you.
Oh,
While it's technically a Speyside whiskey,
okay.
it actually has a more floral and perfumed character.
Interesting.
It's quite a delightful departure from that typical Speyside profile.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth seeking out
Yeah.
if you're looking for something a little different.
I'll put that on my list.
Now, if we're talking about surprises,
Okay.
the story of Mortlach is definitely a must-tell.
All right. Let's hear it.
Before it became a distillery, it actually served as a brewery
A brewery. Wow.
and even a temporary church.
What?
That's right.
Oh, my
The
goodness.
history of whiskey is full of these unexpected twists and turns.
Yeah, it really is.
It adds a layer of intrigue to every sip.
Absolutely.
Our Scottish adventure ends here for now,
Okay.
but our whiskey journey is far from over.
And wait.
Get ready to cross oceans and explore the global reach of this beloved spirit.
I'm ready. It really is fascinating how whiskey, a spirit with such strong ties to Scotland,
Yeah,
ended up becoming a global phenomenon.
that's a great question.
Yeah.
And to understand that, I think we need to delve into the captivating world of Japanese whiskey.
Japanese whiskey. Okay.
It's a story of passion, innovation, and meticulous craftsmanship.
I like it.
Our journey starts in the 1920s
All right.
with two visionary figures,
Hmm.
Shinjiro Tori and Masataka Takatsuro.
Interesting names.
Now, Tori was a businessman
Okay.
with a keen eye for opportunity, right?
Right.
He was importing Scotch whiskey to Japan,
Okay.
while Takatsuro was a distiller who traveled to Scotland to learn the art of whiskey making firsthand.
So they both had this passion for whiskey, but from different perspectives.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
So what's so fascinating is how these two individuals,
yeah.
with their unique skills and perspectives,
Mhm.
came together to shape the future of Japanese whiskey.
Right, because Tori, with his business acumen,
Yes.
he founded Suntory
Right.
and established Yamazaki, Japan's first malt whiskey distillery.
The first one.
And who did he bring on board as his distiller? None other than Masataka Takatsuro.
It's like a match made in whiskey heaven.
It really is. It's the perfect partnership,
It really is.
combining those two. Yeah.
Now, Takatsuro's influence on Japanese whiskey is undeniable.
Yeah.
He eventually went on to found his own company, Nikka,
Nika. Okay.
which has become Suntory's biggest rival,
Wow.
further enriching the Japanese whiskey landscape.
I love that friendly rivalry.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the Japanese whiskey industry has embraced both tradition and innovation, right?
Yes.
Drawing inspiration from Scotch whiskey,
Yeah.
but also forging its own unique path.
That's right.
The result is a collection of whiskeys that are distinctly Japanese in character,
Uh-huh.
captivating whiskey lovers worldwide.
One of Nikka's most renowned distilleries is Miyagi-Kyo,
Miyagi-Kyo.
which is celebrated for its diverse range of spirit styles.
Really?
So at Miyagi-Kyo, you'll find everything from, light and fragrant whiskeys
Right.
that kind of dance on the palate
Yeah.
to those with a bolder, peatier character
Right.
that evoke the rugged landscapes of Scotland.
So there's something for everyone there.
Yeah, there really is.
It's remarkable how how whiskey making techniques and traditions can transcend borders,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
taking root and flourishing in different corners of the world.
absolutely. I mean, it's a testament to the enduring appeal of the spirit
Yeah.
and its ability to connect people across cultures.
All right, let's broaden our horizons even further
Okay,
and sample some other remarkable whiskeys from around the globe.
let's do it.
Have you heard of Mackmyra?
Mackmyra. No.
It's a distillery nestled amidst the forests of Sweden.
Wow, Sweden.
And
Oh.
they've actually recently implemented a gravity-fed design in their new distillery,
Interesting.
showcasing the innovative spirit that drives whiskey makers worldwide.
I mean, it's truly inspiring to see how distilleries, even in regions not traditionally known for whiskey production, are constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible,
Right.
combining traditional techniques with cutting-edge technology.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
Now, there's this Irish Inishowen blend,
Inishowen, okay.
which is a delightful surprise for those seeking something unique.
Interesting.
Combines peaty and floral notes.
Really?
A combination not often found in Irish whiskey.
Okay, I see.
It's a reminder that distillers are constantly challenging our expectations and redefining what a particular style of whiskey can be.
Yeah, that's what keeps the world of whiskey so exciting, right?
Yes.
Distillers are constantly experimenting with flavor profiles, drawing inspiration from their surroundings, challenging our preconceived notions of what a whiskey should taste like.
Yeah.
It's an invitation to explore, discover, and expand our palates.
Now, speaking of pushing boundaries, let's head over to Canada.
Canada? Okay.
Where 40 Creek Distillery has blurred the lines between traditional whiskey categories
Interesting.
and incorporate both pot and column stills in their production process.
So they're not limiting themselves.
They're not.
Okay.
It's a revolutionary approach that speaks volumes about the ingenuity and creativity of Canadian whiskey makers.
It's a good reminder that the world of whiskey is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
You know, distillers are breaking down barriers, experimenting with new techniques, and challenging conventions.
Yeah.
That spirit of innovation is what keeps the category fresh and exciting.
Exactly.
For both seasoned enthusiasts and newcomers alike.
Now, from the global stage,
All right.
let's shift our focus to the heart of American whiskey, Kentucky bourbon.
Kentucky bourbon, here we go.
Now, what sets bourbon apart is its corn-based mash bill, at least 51% corn,
Okay.
and it's aging in charred new oak barrels.
Right.
Those two factors are essential to creating that unique flavor profile that defines bourbon.
So that high corn content gives bourbon its signature sweetness,
Right.
while the charred oak barrels impart those notes of vanilla, caramel, and spice, adding layers of complexity and richness.
That's right.
It's a beautiful interplay of flavors
It is.
that has made bourbon a beloved spirit worldwide.
Now, within the world of bourbon,
Okay.
there are so many fascinating stories to uncover.
I bet.
Take Bullet Bourbon, for example.
Okay.
This brand was lovingly resurrected by a descendant of the original distiller,
Wow.
using the original recipe passed down through generations.
So they kept that tradition alive.
They did.
That's awesome.
It's a testament to that enduring legacy of family and tradition in the world of whiskey.
What's also interesting is that while Bullet is distilled by Four Roses, the brand owner, Diageo, has created the Bullet experience at the historic Stitzelweller Distillery in Louisville.
I see.
Connecting the brand to its heritage.
Right.
And giving visitors a glimpse into its rich history.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then there's Old Crow.
Old Crow, all right.
A bourbon named after James Christopher Crow,
Okay.
a 19th century Scottish-born chemist and Kentucky distiller
Interesting.
who made significant contributions to the advancement of bourbon production techniques.
So we've got a Scotsman influencing American whiskey.
We do.
That's cool.
It's a reminder of the interconnectedness of the whiskey world.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, with knowledge and traditions transcending borders and shaping the evolution of this beloved spirit.
It's fascinating how the story of bourbon is interwoven.
Yeah.
With the stories of individuals who dedicated their lives to perfecting their craft,
Right.
pushing boundaries, and leaving an indelible mark on the industry. Each bottle is a tribute to their passion and innovation.
And speaking of American whiskey, we can't forget about the resurgence of rye whiskey.
Rye whiskey, all right.
A spirit experiencing a remarkable comeback.
Yeah, it's making a comeback.
Its distinctive peppery and slightly bitter character is winning over palates far and wide.
It's interesting, you know, rye whiskey has historical significance in America.
Oh.
It was once far more popular than bourbon.
Wow.
But it never fully recovered from Prohibition.
Really?
Yeah, but now we're witnessing a revival.
I see.
With micro-distilleries leading the charge.
Right.
Producing small batch rye whiskeys that showcase the unique qualities of this grain.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, to be legally classified as rye whiskey, it must be made from a mash of at least 51% rye.
Okay.
With the remaining portion typically consisting of corn and malted barley.
Right.
Just like bourbon, it has to be aged in charred new oak barrels. further enhancing its distinctive flavor profile.
So those legal requirements
Yeah.
ensure that rye whiskey stays true to its historical roots.
Exactly.
And retains the unique characteristics that make it so appealing.
Yeah, it's a safeguard against imitation.
Exactly.
And a testament to the dedication of those who are passionate about preserving the heritage of this spirit.
Right.
From the rolling hills of Scotland to the innovative distilleries of Japan and the heart of American whiskey country. We've covered an impressive amount of ground on our global whiskey tour.
Yeah, we really have.
But there's one more crucial stop I want to make before we wrap things up.
What's that?
And that's flavor.
Flavor. All right, let's do it.
Now, I know you provided a food pairing guide.
You did.
So let's use that to, unlock a whole new dimension of whiskey enjoyment.
Right.
I bet you have some surprising pairings up your sleeve.
You know I do.
Okay, lay it on me.
All right. Well, have you ever considered pairing Islay whiskey with its bold, smoky character with blue cheese?
You've got to be kidding me.
I know it sounds a bit unconventional, but trust me, the strong flavors complement each other beautifully.
I mean, Islay whiskey and blue cheese, that just sounds like a recipe for disaster.
I know it sounds that way, but it's all about the chemistry.
Okay.
Both Islay whiskey and blue cheese contain volatile compounds that create those, pungent, smoky aromas. And when you combine them, these compounds interact and create this surprisingly harmonious flavor experience.
So what you're saying is sometimes opposites attract, even in the world of flavor.
Exactly.
All right, you've convinced me.
Okay.
I'm willing to give that one a try.
All right, good.
Any other surprising pairings you can share?
Okay, here's another one that might surprise you. Rye whiskey with apple pie.
Rye whiskey and apple pie.
I know, right?
That does sound interesting.
So, the spiciness of the rye whiskey with its notes of pepper and clove, it pairs incredibly well with the warm spices in the apple pie. Like cinnamon and nutmeg. It's like pure comfort food elevated to a whole new level.
It sounds like the perfect way to end a cozy autumn meal.
Yeah.
I have to say, this whole discussion has really piqued my curiosity about how we even perceive flavor.
Right.
Like, how do we actually experience all these complex nuances in whiskey?
Yeah.
I mean, it can't just be about taste, right?
No, it's definitely more than just taste.
So walk me through this.
Okay.
So our olfactory system, which is responsible for our sense of smell, is really the key player in how we experience all those intricate layers of flavor in whiskey.
So how does our sense of smell influence our perception of flavor?
So imagine taking a sip of your favorite whiskey.
Okay.
Now, as you savor it, aroma molecules from the whiskey travel up through the back of your throat into your nasal cavity, and that's where they encounter the olfactory receptors, which send signals to your brain, interpreting that complex mix of aromas.
So we're not just tasting the whiskey.
We're smelling it too.
Exactly.
And our brains are working behind the scenes
to
combine those sensory inputs into this cohesive flavor experience.
Yeah, and it's remarkable because our brains actually create what are called odor objects.
Odor objects, what are those?
They're like mental representations of specific aromas. And over time, as we're exposed to different scents and flavors, we build a vast library of these odor objects. That's how we can instantly recognize that smoky peatiness of an Islay whiskey or the sweet vanilla notes of a bourbon.
Wow. I had no idea there was so much science involved in simply enjoying a dram of whiskey.
It's pretty amazing.
I feel like we've covered so much today.
We have.
We explored the history and geography of whiskey. We delved into the unique production methods and even uncovered the science behind flavor.
And you've gone from whiskey novice to whiskey enthusiast.
Oh, cheers to that.
Cheers.
But in all seriousness, what an incredible journey this has been. I'm definitely going to be experimenting with those food pairings, and I'll be paying closer attention to the aromas in every sip from now on.
I encourage you to, There's such a diverse range of styles and flavors out there.
Yeah.
And the world of whiskey truly offers something for everyone.
Yeah.
The key is to keep exploring, experimenting, and enjoy the journey.
That's a perfect note to end on. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of whiskey and that you'll raise a glass to all the incredible distillers who've dedicated themselves to crafting this exceptional spirit. Until next time, keep those glasses raised and don't be afraid to share your own whiskey discoveries with the world. Cheers.